Shelby Tanaze is asking a question. What would you consider tasteful from my live chats? By the way, I'm live streaming right now as we're filming this topic. Tasteful is a difficult term. And I do believe that when we're talking about fashion and luxury and design, clothing, accessories, jewelry, you know, or in general, Shelby's asking, what would you consider tasteful? So tasteful is not always stylish, and they're not necessarily always the same thing. And let me say this: tasteful is something that is actually wrong. It doesn't belong in a conversation about fashion or elegance or style. Because in my humble opinion, and everything I say in this video is just my opinion, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged, okay, just for entertainment purposes only. But to me, tasteful implies that whoever is being scrutinized, whether or not they are tasteful, implies that the person who is being judged is not being judged on their own criterias, but rather on the criterias that the person judging them has. Which is a terrible place to be in. It's very elitist and snobby. So if we're thinking about fashion and what is tasteful in fashion or in style, it's as if you're already losing by even asking the question, because that question implies that the answer can only be valid if given by the spectator. So you always have to be scrutinized by someone who will then judge whether or not what you're wearing or doing is tasteful. Well, let's limit ourselves to what you're wearing, because we're here in the fashion realm. If we're in the comportamental realm of behavior, you could say, well, tasteful means being polite. Tasteful means behaving in a way that is not offensive to others. Behaving in a way that is not invasive of other people's space. But that could also be just being polite, having good manners. Tasteful is kind of, it's like turning it a notch higher, in my opinion. It's like, yeah, you got the behavioral patterns down. You're polite. You're not saying offensive words to anybody. But then being tasteful implies that you're also, not only are you not offensive to anybody, you're not rude to anybody, but you also have to always guess what is the right thing to say in the presence of that person, which you put on a higher pedestal than you, because you feel the need to be tasteful in order to cater to their taste. And that is just something that I do not condone. You see, I do not condone that. I really don't. Style is one thing. Now we're back to fashion, and tasteful is another. So I do believe that only a snob can really think that they can tell you what is tasteful and what is not tasteful. Because it's an artifice. It's something artificially coined, and it's given a label. This is what you got to do to be tasteful. Why am I saying this? Very simple. Because every human being is different, and every human being has a different taste. Just like we all have a different chemistry, we all have different preferences. You prefer yellow, I prefer the color blue. You prefer cookies, I prefer popcorn. Oh my God, Freud, cockcorn? Did I just... Well, Freud is going to have a field trip with me today. Why don't you just like thumb up this live stream? Like this, the cockcorn on its own deserves a thumb up. Thumb up the live, thumb up the video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the join button next to the subscription button. Become a member today and gain access to extra corn perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together there as well for extra perks. Thank you to our members and patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience, so I have my whole chat now dying and posting eggplant emojis. Way to go, Dacob. Freud. We all have, so I like popcorn, you like cookies. Popcorn isn't better than cookies. It's just a different taste. But the second you start saying, well, is this tasteful? What you're doing, what you're wearing, that automatically implies that somebody is above somebody else and somebody gets to decide what you have to wear, how you have to look in order to fulfill the taste of the person who's above you. And that, my dears, I do not condone. Absolutely not. Style, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Why? Well, style, for example, is what, let's say, a brand launches a product for the first time ever, and they're hopeful that people are going to like it. The first year they launched the product, it's a seasonal piece. It's the first season that it's launched. They're testing the waters. Are they going to sell enough? Are people going to like it? People like it. They buy enough for the brand to warrant making that piece again the next year. Hey, there was a lot of demand for this product. Let's random example. I got a couple of things here. The Speedy, the Louis Vuitton Speedy, okay, which has been launched in the 20s for the first time, mid-20s, 1920s. So it's almost 100 years old. Maybe it already is 100 years old by now, as we're filming this video. And so they make it. Louis Vuitton makes it the first year, and let's see how it goes. Sells really well. You know what? Maybe we should keep it in the assortment one more year, one more season. Let's see how it sells. Still sells good. Keep selling, keep selling. All right. 50, 60, 70 years later, people are still buying the Speedy. 100 years later, the Speedy is recognized the world over. It's no longer fashion. It has been consecrated into style. That's style. Something that transcends fashion and is not limited to the passing of tendencies, trends, and time. However, you see, is it tasteful? Very debatable, isn't it? Some people see the Speedy and they're going to tell you, oh, that's so tacky. Too many people have it on the streets. Too many fakes are going around. It's tasteless. Might be to you, but not to me. But we both have to agree that this is style. It's not fashion anymore. It's survived so long, it has earned its rightful position in the Olympus of style. But taste, debatable. It could be 100 years old and still super popular, but it could still be trash in terms of taste. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? So there's that. So I do believe that when somebody asks you, what is tasteful to you? You have to be honest and tell that person, listen, we all have a different taste. My taste is not better than yours. Your taste is not better than mine. It's just personal preference. And that's why that entire conversation about what is tasteful to me makes no sense. Makes no sense, because the second you asked me, oh, what is tasteful in your opinion? It's as if you're putting me on a higher pedestal than you. And I am not on a higher pedestal than you. Absolutely not. And I am in no position, and nobody should be in a position to tell you what is tasteful but you. You are the only person who can say to yourself what is tasteful to you. And don't let anybody ever tell you, oh, that's so tasteless. That's so tacky. Yeah, to you. But don't judge me. That's to you. It's your opinion only. You cannot make your opinion sound as if it's better than mine. Meaning your taste is better than mine. Since I don't have your taste, I'm worth less than you. Never. Don't ever let anybody make you feel that way. Shelby, I hope you liked, oh, Shelby's answering. Thank you for the answer. I have heard that word in conversation and wasn't sure what to make of it. Well, I hope that I was able to give you my interpretation of what it is and how it can be utilized or interpreted. But of course, again, interpretation of language and linguistics is also very volatile, and everybody can put different meanings to words. You know, there's that as well. But that's how I personally interpret tasteful and tastefulness when it comes to a conversation between two people. And two people are always going to have different tastes. So it's like, why even have the conversation, you know? The correct way of maybe asking it without offending each other would be like, what do you like? You know, oh, we go to the movies together, and again, cookies and popcorn, and we go to the movies together, and like, hey, what would you like to have? I want to invite you. I want to invite you to something, to a treat at the movies. Do you like treats at the movies? You do? Oh, okay. Well, do you like salty or sweet? What do you prefer? And then you follow your taste and you say, oh, I want the cookie. I'm like, okay, great. Perfect. I'm going to get a cookie for you. I'm going to get myself popcorn. And then you say, oh, that's fabulous. And then we both sit next to each other. We enjoy the movie together. You're living your fabulous self with the popcorn, and I'm living my fabulous self with the cookie, or vice versa. And we're not judging each other for having different taste. There you have it. I hope I was clear with the popcorn and the other corn. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumb up this video if you've enjoyed it. And until next time, never forget to never give up on love and subscribe. Bye.